course, we are a Detroit based podcast, and the Lions played this past Sunday at the Rams. And unfortunately, we came out on the short end of that, 41-34. Jared Goff had a pretty good game, well over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But unfortunately, that was not enough. The Rams, looking like, again, the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. Very tough place to go in and get a win. It was a shootout, as you predicted. And just couldn't get, enough stops, enough going on defense in order to be able to pull that one out. But what was your analysis of the game, man? What say the people's champ, and where do we stand now? What should the fan base be expecting for the remainder of the year? Have we limited ourselves in terms of margin for error? And what do you expect that we should be looking forward to come Sunday against the Steelers?
Well, first off, Sunday didn't quite go as planned.
That's an understatement.
They delivered on the shootout.
Yep.
Certainly didn't go our way. The biggest takeaway for me would be Shep. I was just really perplexed.
Kelvin Shepherd.
Yeah. I was just really perplexed by just the stubbornness, I guess, to just stay in man coverage. I just, bruh, dude, DJ Reed, this man can't cover a twin size bed with a queen size comforter, dude. Like he just can't, man. And again, this is a pro level athlete, top percent. I'm talking about on that level is what I'm talking. Like, bruh, it was at will.
Yeah.
And
hasn't been good.
You definitely can't. I'm not just blaming the loss on him, but a lot of the defensive struggles resulted from the man coverage where he, especially with a guy like Stafford, he's always going to exploit a mismatch. He'll find one.
Yeah.
So for you to just hand him one repeatedly, I don't even know. That's like playing Russian roulette with a Draco.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
That was really the main takeaway for me. In terms of some other, details offensively, again, it's nice to see J-Mo.
Yeah.
The continuing development and showcasing of Jameson looking like a number one.
Yeah.
Hey, if we gonna have that Jamar Chase, T. Higgins type of scenario here, sign me up for it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that was good to see. I am concerned with, I believe, is this the second week in a row Jameer haven't crossed 50 yards rushing?
Yes, it is. He only had 43 against Dallas. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
concerning.
That's concerning for me.
Yeah, I didn't think we got the run game going very much, but Montgomery had
Montgomery was
yards
moving the
per carry.
Yeah.
But he only had 7 carries.
Yeah, they went away from it. Yeah. That was again, it was some things there. But I guess maybe they felt that they had to, keep the track meet going, so to speak. There's that. And again, the interior offensive line had their issues again. And I think that's just going to be an ongoing theme until the offseason. I just don't think that's going to address itself until the offseason. I think that's just has to be a full-blown personnel change.
Yeah.
Or recovery, from injury for some players. Outside of that, I was shocked. Dan went for the field goal early.
Yeah.
I was shocked. He missed, but I was.
Yeah, that was a big miss. Too.
Yeah, I'm like, and keep that up. You may be a Michigan Panther again.
Yeah,
because there's been a few of those adding up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's been surprisingly shaky.
It's been a few.
It's just when it rains, it pours. I think the entire team has been shaky.
Mm-hmm.
But No, I mean that's good analysis, man. I agree with much of that. Man, listen, only Everybody Has One podcast, man. We owe the people honesty, and frankly, man, I just kind of blacked out a lot of the media that I would normally go to, man, this week, and listen to and maybe get some ideas and jot some stuff. Man, I didn't make any notes on the Lions this week because, frankly, I just couldn't muster much passion after that game.
Oh, you apathetic?
A little bit, if I'm being honest. Couple of things though. I mean, from a schematic standpoint, I agree with you about Kelvin Shepherd, and I'll take it a step further though.
Okay.
The reason that I feel like we are so stubborn with the man coverage is because we did come out in the second half and we did play. We started in cover 2,
mm-hmm.
a very basic cover 2 scheme, and we played it very poorly. So the guys don't really know how to play zone. So I think that's part of the problem. So
it's not what we do.
I'll give you an example of what I'm saying. So we were playing a basic cover 2 set. They motioned Puka Nacua into the slot. Now, Puka Nacua been killing us all day. He runs a basic seam route from the slot. He runs right past Alex Anzalone. Now, Alex Anzalone, again, I say this all the time, but it bears repeating. You're not defending grass. When a guy comes into your area, he has to turn and run with Puka Nacua and carry him to the safety. This is a basic cover 2 concept. You can't just let Puka Nacua run behind you while you stand there staring at Matt Stafford, but that's exactly what he did because he thinks he's covering this grass.
DOA.
Yeah, and Puka Nacua stopped right behind him in the zone, and Matt Stafford threw it right over his head to Puka Nacua in the open part of the zone. So he doesn't even know how to play zone, to carry that man to the safety. Mm-hmm. So I think part of it is they probably don't coach a lot of zone, so they don't want to play a lot of zone.
That's fair. That's
and against
legit.
A good quarterback like Matt Stafford, you can't play all one thing anyway. You have to mix coverages. You have to disguise. You got to disguise fronts. But just to move away from the technical aspect, let me just come from a fan standpoint because, first of all, shout out to the People's Champ. The People's Champ picked the Lions to win 10 games this year. I picked them to win 12. The People's Champ is going to be closer to right than I am. I thought we needed to win 12. I'm going to be right about that, I think.
Yeah.
10, I don't know, gets us in, but we'll see because it's a stacked NFC this year. But as I thought about going over playoff scenarios and discussing the playoffs and how we get in and all of that, really, man, the one question became, what does it matter? If we squeeze in as the 7th seed
and get our ass kicked,
we probably going to be headed to Lambeau. We've been on the field twice with the Green Bay Packers this year.
They'll be without Micah Parsons.
It don't matter. Edge rushers are not needle movers.
Well,
somebody sat here and told you that too.
Well,
and that leads me into my next point about the to all of the people, all of the I need more from Hutch people. I told you that an edge rusher is not a needle mover. Micah Parsons ain't a needle mover. The Green Bay Packers, they still going to do whatever they going to do with or without him. The Green Bay Packers won 11 games last year without Micah Parsons. They on pace to win 11 games this year, and they've had a healthy Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons just went from a bad situation to a good situation. He didn't make the Green Bay Packers better. He didn't. And you can argue, you can go to the grocery store and argue with the produce section. He didn't. He didn't add one win. Not one. They on the same pace they was on last year with wins and losses. The Dallas Cowboys, the team he left, on the same pace with wins and losses. Nick Bosa, $34 million man. He played 14 of the 17 games last year. His team won 6. They've been without him for most of the year. They looking for win number 11. Myles Garrett, he on pace to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. His team is going to win less than 5 games.
Yeah.
Max Crosby, he plays for the Oakland Raiders, possibly the worst team in football. He one of the best edge rushers.
Yeah, you could have just stopped and said he plays for the Vegas Raiders.
Right.
Yeah, like just.
I mean, one person said that if I was Brad Holmes, wouldn't give Hutch $50 million a year. One person sat here and said that. I also said, don't worry, they're not going to listen to me. They're going to give him $50 million a year anyway. And they did. The edge rusher just is not a needle mover like that. They just don't. A great edge rusher is a great edge rusher, and he's a compliment on a great team. He's not going to change the team, though. And he doesn't.
But I think a player like Hutch on your defense, when you consider his age and where he's at, he's a piece that you build around.
Absolutely. I'm not telling you Hutch is not a great player.
No,
I'm not
I
telling
know
you
you're
Myles Garrett is not a great player.
I just think that, they're like someone was going to pay him.
Hutch had
I'd rather it been us.
Yeah. Hutch had a sack and a half and a 58-yard interception return on Sunday.
Right.
The defense gave up 41 points. They just don't move the needle.
Right. Well,
is my point.
Yeah, no, I get that. But and to your point, also about, even the playoffs. It's just like, I just feel that with that secondary, it doesn't really matter This
is my point. That's why I'm like, listen.
Like whoever we face in the playoffs.
A great edge rusher is only worth so much.
Yeah, I agree.
Is my point. Even on a really good team. And because I think Green Bay is a good team. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, there's only so much value add that you get out of them.
Right.
It's not like a quarterback or a number one receiver or a number one running back. You get so much value out of those positions. An edge rusher is a compliment to a great team.
I got you.
But they pay him like the second most important player.
Right.
Is the point. I'm not telling you that Hutch is not good.
No, right. I get you.
Or talented.
It was Derek Brooks. It was Sapp. Right. It was Lynch and Barber.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it.
You need the whole squad. And I'm like,
And with Hutch, he's now like naked without Branch, without Kirby most of the season.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Davis is gone.
You need him as a piece.
Aleem McNeil plays every other week.
Yeah. Yeah. Al-Qadim Muhammad is. Right. He like Michelle Williams on the Destiny's Child tour. Right. He show up every third city. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might see him.
Right.
We might not.
So, yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
And so, that is what it is. I'm like, Hutch, you want more than a sack and a half and a 58-yard interception return?
Right.
That's what I'm like. He had a great game.
Right. There's like not more that he can do.
Yeah, like what you want. You want a 4 or 5 sack game? That's not realistic. That's not realistic on a week in and week out basis. No. And he's getting the double teams. He's getting the chips. He's getting the tight end over there on him. They doing everything to slow him down.
And he's applying pressure, but there's no one on the other side to clean up on aisle 6.
This is what I'm saying.
I agree with you.
I'm like, this is the entire point. So
preach on.
I'm like, we may squeeze in to the 7th seed, but I don't think that it's going to make a difference.
You think they get in with 11 wins?
Yeah, to the 7th spot.
7th spot? You think 11 wins gets the 7th spot?
Yeah, I think that'll get them the 7th seed. That'll get us going to Green Bay in the wild card round, and that'll be it.
Christian
Watson
goes nuts.
Yeah, Christian Watson, Golden, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed. We're not going to be able to stop
Josh Jacobs, did you see that catch he had, that touchdown grab that he
had?
That was
great. That was a great catch. But I'm like, but Denver might have the best defense in football, and they played them they basically played them right down to the wire at their place.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't mean to throw cold water on the conversation, but I'm not feeling much hope.
This is hard for us. We both picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl, not just go. We picked them to win.
I did. The Bears, I expect the Bears to lose the next 2 weeks. I expect the Lions to win the next 2 weeks, and then it'll come down to Soldier Field. And I expect the Lions to win that game because we a bad matchup for the Bears. But with that being said, it might not necessarily go that way. And if we don't win the next 2 weeks, we ain't a playoff team anyway.
That we won't be. So yeah.
I mean, you're not. I mean, listen, Pittsburgh coming in with plenty to play for. You shouldn't be overlooking them. But at home, you should beat Pittsburgh. You should be favored. You will be, and you should beat them.
Shout out Tyrone.
Yeah. If you don't beat Pittsburgh, you're not a playoff team. If you don't beat Minnesota, a non-playoff team, at their place in a controlled environment, you're not a playoff team. With J.J. McCarthy at the helm, you're not a playoff team. Those are losable games. You could lose them. I expect you to win them. But even if you do all of that, I mean, then what? Then you go to Chicago. That's going to be a toss-up game. You might not be favored. That's going to be a toss-up.
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, because Chicago's going to want that game. They're going to remember that you put 52 on them in week 2. But I think we a better team than Chicago. But
and it was a disrespectful 52.
It was.
As well, remember that.
We went for it on fourth down.
That's what I'm saying. It was a disrespectful 52. Yep. And they are a different team. But again, to your point, styles make fights.
They do. I think we a bad matchup for Chicago, but
that said.
But that's not going to be, you're not just walking into Chicago and coming out of there with a W.
31 takeaways.
Yeah. but also, Chicago is a little bit of fool's gold because Chicago runs the ball and they depend on their defense for takeaways. But
yeah, you get them started taking water, then it's.
But my thing is good teams. What do good teams do? The two things that good teams do is they stop the run and they don't turn it over.
Yep.
I'm like, once every team is good, even if they make it to the playoffs, they going to find that what good teams do, good teams stuff the run and they don't turn it over.
So you mean the Denver Broncos?
I mean, all the good teams. I mean, all of them. Yeah, all of them. You look at the bottom of the league and giveaways, and it's all the best teams.
And no, I just say that to say because with Denver, you look at how that streak that they've had.
Yeah.
It's always something like in the fourth quarter where it comes down to either ball security or making a big stop on third down for their defense or getting a turnover on defense or breaking up a pass on defense. Yeah.
And another thing, they 31st in sacks allowed. They don't let you at their quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, man,
remember those days for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, if Jared, I maintain if Jared Goff played for Denver, they'd be undefeated.
Damn, that's a new one. I had to think about that. It doesn't sound crazy on its face.
No. I'm like, if Jared Goff played for Denver, because Jared Goff does not turn it, he doesn't throw interceptions.
No.
And if with time, he'll light you up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
There's nobody better without time.
I've never, like I said, I've never heard anybody put that out there.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I said it. You trade Jared Goff. All of these people that want Jared Goff gone. You trade Jared Goff like you did with Matthew Stafford into a ready-made Super Bowl situation. It's Jared Goff to the Rams. It's Stafford to the Rams all over again. Trade Jared Goff somewhere that's ready to win.
Yeah. But I got to give him credit, man. And you have to give some credit to Sean Payton too.
Oh yeah.
But
Sean Payton's a great coach.
Bo Nix is over-delivered.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, you know how when there's, coaches of a certain stature and just acumen, there's, you can just get them a guy that's competent enough to.
I agree.
But Bo Nix has done that and then some.
Oh, yeah.
Like by a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
And I was never really a big Bo Nix guy. And I got to keep it a buck.
Yeah.
He's made some plays where I was like.
But, man.
And
they keep him clean.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Like, if you keep an NFL quarterback clean,
for sure,
that's a different, man, the difference that makes, that turns, because I think that Bo Nix is, let's call him above average.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it takes an above average quarterback, it makes him good.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a good quarterback, makes him really good. Mm-hmm. A great quarterback, it makes them unstoppable.
I hear no arguments.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like because we saw that immediately when Matt Stafford moved from the Lions to the Rams.
Well, shit.
because we knew that he was really good. I did. A lot of the Lions fans wanted him gone, but I knew that he was really good. But
I still think that biggest problem with that team is they didn't bring that defense back.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it just became a matter of cost. Like they were just spending so much. It was like, they was already on the back end of the spending. That's why they went out and got a quarterback, because they was like, we need to seize on all of this talent. Because
that wide 9 was killer, man.
Yeah,
it was killer. And Fairley and all, man, I digress.
But at any rate, man, give me a prediction, man, for the Lions versus the Steelers, man. Then we'll move on, because there's a lot to discuss here.
Yeah, man, just to spite my man Ty, I'm going Lions 24, Steelers 17.
Okay, yeah, I can roll with that,
I think we beat Aaron Rodgers up.
Yeah,
I think we beat Aaron Rodgers up. I think Jahmyr Gibbs bounces back. And,
I mean, I got the Lions. I call it 28-21.
Okay.
Only because even bad teams get 3 scores on us.
Yeah. But Aaron Rodgers is trash.
I mean, listen, he looked pretty good on Monday night. But, I mean, yes, listen, the Dolphins are beleaguered.
I'm just saying, I'm like, man, I mean, Miami is out here like playing for Cancun at this point.
But I don't know, man. The way our secondary is looking.
Yeah, that's true, too. I mean, just throw towards number 4.
Bro.
And the ball will find its way to the opponent. Yeah, that's fair.
At any rate, man, let's move on, man.